Going back to your Republican National Convention speech, you said, our nuclear bases still use floppy disks. Our newest fighter jets can't even fly in the rain. And it would be kind to say the government's software works poorly because so much of the time it doesn't work at all. If you're talking about less government and more libertarian things, how does America fix that stuff still?
Well, this is where I think my ideal would be a smaller government that does more with less. The ideological debates we have in Washington, D.C. are always more with more versus less with less. It's sort of runaway spending with no controls, or austerity where you're 300 pounds and you will chop off your thumb as a weight control measure. So it's that's sort of the weird public policy debate we have, and what the technology industry is about, what is always doing more with less, and I think that would be a healthy perspective for us to have in D.C. So the question is, can we have whatever we spend on the military, can we achieve the same for less? So if you have an F-35 fighter jet that doesn't fly in the rain, maybe you could have. Is there such a thing as a less expensive jet that can fly in the rain? I suspect there is, and this is where I differ from libertarians, because they might be excited about the F-35 jet and say, good, we can just shut down the whole government. And I think we should take it as a challenge to make it work better. If you can never do better than the F-35, that's a super libertarian perspective, because then you have to just shut everything down. If everything's as bad as the F-35, you should just shut down everything in this town, have everyone go home. What I always point out to in these things, though, is that there's been a decline. Libertarianism would not have sold as well in the 40s or 50s or 60s in the U.S. If you were a libertarian, it's fringe today. It was super fringe in the 50s and 60s, because that was a society where the premise that the government couldn't do anything didn't make sense. The Libertarian Party got started in the 1970s in the US. That's when it took off. And the 1970s is the decade where things really stopped working in this country, and especially on the governmental side. And so I think there's this deep link between libertarianism and the decline of our governmental institutions.